Marriage Story is directed and written by Noah Baumbach and stars Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson, and Laura Dern, just to name a few. And I gotta say, I really love this movie. It feels very real. There are a bunch of choices that I think would usually not fly in a movie like this. First off, this is my first Noah Baumbach film. I meant to watch his other work in the past, like more of his recent stuff, like While We're Young and stuff like that, but just never got around to it, so this is kind of going to be my introduction to him, just seeing how he works and how he directs. And it tells a story of this couple going through a divorce and how it can have like a serious effect on their lives as well as their son. But yeah, I think Marriage Story was a really, really great time, even though it's kind of sad, actually pretty sad, but it's still a great movie nonetheless. It's has some great performances, has some great scenes, and I am really interested in more of Noah Baumbach's work, and I'll probably seek out some of those movies soon. There are these great wide shots so you can see everything in the room, and there's just like little things that show that these characters have been living here or not been living here, and then you pick up these little tidbits about these characters just by looking at the stuff that's in the background. The editing's also really well done. Like every time like it cuts, like it's always for a reason. It's not just to like for it to happen. Like it would cut to something that's important to the story or that scene at that particular moment. For example, in a scene, a person might have a really powerful line. It won't focus on the person who's saying it. It would focus on the person who's being talked to's face. Like you can see their reaction and how they would react to a line like that. Speaking of powerful lines, Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are probably at the top of their game in this movie. Like their scenes are really heartbreaking, and I think they really nail it in this movie by just kind of showing this like almost vulnerability to them. And that's not to say that they weren't that great before. Like I love them in their respective franchises, but their work in drama has been really good as well. Like Adam Driver and Patterson and Scarlett Johansson and Her. They were both really great in those movies, but this one I think they really sell the emotion. And I think the scenes that work best in this movie is when the camera's just focused on one of them and they just have this like monologue for like 5 minutes, and it's just focused on their face and you can see every emotion in their face while they're saying every word. Throughout the movie, you could tell that these characters did love each other at the time, and as the movie progresses, you can tell you start to learn a couple things about them, like why they do like them, why they don't like them. Being a movie like this, it's gonna have that giant argument scene, and I think this movie did it right. Whereas other movies kind of have that argument scene like, but like 3 times in one movie. This one it kind of builds up, and you kind of don't want to see it, but you do want to see it at the same time because you know that these two characters are kind of holding it in the entire movie. And when it does hit, it's very powerful. Like you can tell that all that time that it's kind of like been pushed in and kept inside, that it kind of paid off, and it makes for probably the best scene of the entire movie where these two characters are just going at it. Throughout every passing scene, you kind of like switching sides. You almost feel like the kid. You want to be with Adam Driver in one scene, and then another scene you might be want to be with Scarlett Johansson. And I thought that worked really well for this movie because not one person is like 100% right. Like everybody else has their flaws. And I also really loved the score for this movie. It was really dramatic and emotional, and it almost reminded me of Pixar's Up, and just some of the tone and some of the instruments that they used. But as for Marriage Story, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. I really love this movie. I think there are little flaws with it, but like nothing major for me. It's more of a nitpick. Like this scene might go on for too long, or these characters aren't like in the movie as much as you would want them. But just things like that. Nothing like major that's gonna ruin this movie because I think this movie works when it's just like focused on these two characters. But yeah, this one's on Netflix right now. If you guys want to watch it, you guys can check it out. If you've seen it, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.